mountains.
The Quran draws our attention to a very important characteristic of mountains. Did we not make the earth as a resting place and the mountains as stakes? The Quran indicates that mountains have deep roots by using the word stakes to describe them.
What? Get out of here, man!
In fact, mountains do have deep roots, and the word stakes is an accurate description for them.
This is a stake. How does saying Allah made the mountains as stakes indicate that mountains have deep roots? Mountains have buoyant roots, floating roots. Mountains form by plates colliding and pushing against, under, and above each other. It takes a long time for mountains to form, because they are the ground that we walk on, which smashes into each other, and then rises necessarily, or goes under, moves, and deforms. The Quran, however, describes the mountains as stakes which are firm and which were planted into the earth by Allah so that the earth does not shake. None of these things is remotely true. It's rather laughable. I would really love to talk to a specialist, a seismologist about this stuff, and would really like to see their reaction. In the fifth fact, the video asserts that the Quran accurately describes an expanding universe in chapter 51 verse 47, and that this agrees with our newfound understanding of the expanding universe.
And it is we who have built the universe with our creative power and keep expanding it. The fact that the universe is expanding was discovered in the last century.
The theory is that our universe is constantly expanding, and this is a supporting evidence for the Big Bang theory. What the Quran verse describes, however, is that Allah built the heaven with His power, and that He expanded the heaven, as He also built the earth and spread the earth. As mentioned, the Quran is completely ignorant of the universe and of space. What the Quran means to describe is that Allah built the heaven, the sky, and made it huge above us, which, as we have established, is ignorance. Also, it really stinks that the author of this video asserts that the Quran correctly describes our protective sky, while also asserting that the Quran describes an expanding universe, when in both cases the Quran is explicitly using the same word and referring to this sky or heaven above us. In number 6, the video asserts that the Quran describes the sun's orbit around the Milky Way.
It is now a well-established scientific fact that the sun is not stationary, but is moving in an orbit around the center of our Milky Way galaxy. The Quran mentions the orbit of the sun. It is He who created night and day, the sun and the moon, each floating in its orbit.
What the verse says, to be precise, is that the night and the day and the sun and the moon each are swimming in an orbit. Looking up to the sky and watching the sun and the moon go by every day from one end to the other end above us. And the next day this same thing happens again and again. It is not hard to then come up with the description that the sun and the moon are swimming in an orbit. Probably like this. You know, because it comes from there, it goes back on the other side, then it comes again back from that side, goes over there, comes back from that side. Makes sense. And both of them do that. They chase each other like this. That makes sense. How in the world do you connect this to the sun's own orbit around the Milky Way? The Quran says in other verses that Allah brings the sun from the east, that the moon and the sun chase each other, that they can never overtake each other, that the sun runs toward a stopping point, that it runs for a specified term every day, that the sun has a rising place, a setting place, that it sets in a muddy spring, and more. Just ask Muhammad. He thought that the sun goes to prostrate to Allah every night and comes back in the morning after asking Allah for permission to rise again. Doesn't really sound like the Milky Way. In number 7,